This is Note-Taking Guide 6.0 for Math 1. Today we're going to learn how to simplify expressions. When we're looking to simplify expressions, we're looking to see what things we have that are the same. So when we're looking for things that are the same, we're looking at their variables and the powers on the variables. So when I look at this, I have 12x plus 6 plus 4x plus 17. If I want a like term to go with this 12x, I have to find a term that has exactly the same variable. The term with exactly the same variable is the x, so 12x plus 4x. I'm going to add those two numbers together to get 16, and then I'm simply going to rewrite the x. I'm going to do the same thing with the numbers. I have a positive 6 and a positive 17. I'm going to add those together to get 23. So that's one method where you can do this. You can just kind of box out like terms, underline like terms, that kind of thing. Another method that I like to use is the method I call the stack 'em method. So I like to write stuff out. I have 12x plus 6 there. And then I would stack like terms on top of each other. So the 4x goes underneath the 12x. The 17 comes over here. And then I add those straight down because I stacked like terms together. 12 plus 4 is 16. I rewrite the x. And then 17 plus 6 is 23. So that's kind of the way I like to do it, is stacking them up like that. Let's try another one right here. So I'm going to rewrite this so it stacks together. I have 4a squared minus 5a, because they're not like terms, I kept them separate. Now I have plus an a squared, so I'm going to write it underneath the other a squared. I have a plus 5a, so I'm going to write it underneath the other a term, and then plus 9. I stacked like terms together, and now I'm going to add them straight down. So 4a plus 1a, or 4a squared plus 1a squared is 5a squared. Negative 5a plus 5a cancel out to be 0a. And then I have a plus 9 back behind to be my solution. I'm going to do this next one the exact same way. Again, I just like to stack them. You don't have to stack them, but I think it's a nice and easy way to figure out how to combine like terms. So I'm going to rewrite the first one, and then I'm going to stack the second one under its like terms. So the 12h squared goes under the 8h squared, and then I'm going to go minus 13 underneath the 5. Because I wrote those down with their signs on them, I'm ready to add straight down. 8 plus 12 is 20. Rewrite the h squared. And 5 minus 13 is a negative 8. Those do not combine together. They're not like terms. We're going to leave it just like that for my solution. On this next one, we're going to do the exact same thing. I like to write them so I can stack them. So again, I'm going to rewrite this first one. On this second one, though, in order to subtract that, I need to take the negative through to both parts of that. So I'm going to go a negative 2x squared, which makes that a positive 2k squared. I said x just a minute ago, but I meant k. And then here I'd have a negative 15, because the negative and the positive make a negative. So I changed the signs on this whole second part right here. Then when I write it, I can add it straight down. I get 10k squared minus 19 for my solution. So anytime you have a subtraction, that subtraction has to change the sign on everything that's behind it. All right, this next part right here is function notation. I just want to take a look up at the instructions up here at the top so we know exactly what we're doing. It says using the functions f of x equals 4x squared and g of x equals 16 minus 5x, find the value of each functional notation. So this says f of 3. I want you to notice up here that we said our notation was f of x, which means this 3 right here is my x value. Now the f tells me which function to use, and the 3 tells me what to substitute in place of the x. So that function up there that says f of x equals 4x squared, I'm going to take that f function, and in place of the x, I'm going to put in a 3. So if you punch this on your calculator right here, it's going to tell you that that's going to be 4 times 9, which is 36 for my solution. This next problem right here asked me to do g of 6, which means this time I'm using the g function. So I'm just going to write that down here so I don't forget which function I'm using. And then what it asked me to do, because this would be g of x, is asking me to put 6n in place of the x into that function. So instead of 16 minus 5x, I'm going to go 16 minus 5 times 6, which is 16 minus 30, which would be a negative 14 for my solution. All right, we got 2 more to go. So what I'd like you to do right now is pause the video and try number 7 and number 8 on your own, and then push play again and see whether or not you got them right. All right, g of negative 8 asked me to use the g function, so I'm going to go up there and I'm going to rewrite that g function that's up there at the top, right up here. And what it asked me to do here is put that negative 8 in place of the x in the g function. So I'm going to go 16 minus 5 times the negative 8. That's 16 plus 40. 16 plus 40 is a 56. So the solution that you got on number 7 should have been 56. Then this last function right here, it tells me to use the f function. My f of x function is 4x squared. I'm going to put 7 in place of the x. So 4 times 7 squared. I know that 7 squared is 49. So I just need to do 49 times 4. And when I do that, I get 196. So my answer to that problem is 196. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck on your homework.